And now, we are proceeding to topic 3, compounds. The compounds are made up of two, or more different elements, which are chemically combined. Chemically combined, is referring to a chemical reaction is occurred during the formation of compounds. The follows are the two examples of compounds. The first example is salt. Sodium chloride is made up of sodium and chlorine. The second example here is sugar. Sugar is made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Since chemical reaction is occurred during the formation of compounds, energy change, that is, light or heat released or absorbed, is involved. New substance will be formed. The original element only can be separated chemically. This is the three condition to indicate that a chemical has happened. Now, we will discuss the formation of compounds from metal and non-metal. Metals easily react with non-metal to form a new compounds, which are new substances with different properties from the elements that make up of them. This topic will discuss how metals react with three non-metals. The first is oxygen. Oxygen is an element in molecule form. The second is water. Water is compound in molecule form. The third is sulfur, and sulfur is an element existed in atom form. Now, let's first see how the metals react with oxygen. Metals react with oxygen to form metal oxide. This is very important for you to remember this equation. Metal react with oxygen will produce metal oxide. Here is some examples. The first example is magnesium. Magnesium reacts with oxygen to form magnesium oxide. When a pure magnesium exposed to atmosphere, magnesium will react with oxygen to form a magnesium oxide on the surface of magnesium. This process also called as oxidation process. This explains why it is impossible to get a pure magnesium from just a mining process from the earth. To gain a pure magnesium, we may using the extraction process like electrolysis or thermal reduction. This is same to other metals. Aluminium will react with oxygen to form aluminium oxide. Zinc will react with oxygen to form zinc oxide. Copper will react with oxygen to form copper oxide. Iron will react with oxygen to form iron oxide. However, not all metals are reaction to form a metal oxide. Gold, silver, and platinum not react with oxygen to form a metal oxide, because they are very stable when exposed to oxygen. Now, we talk about how metals react with water. Metals react with water to form alkaline compounds, metal hydroxides, and hydrogen gas. This is done by putting the metal into water. Alkaline compounds have pH value more than 7, that is between 7 to 14. This is the formula for you to memorize the reaction between metal and water. The follows are the example of the reaction between metal and water. The first example is sodium react with water, will form sodium hydroxides and hydrogen gas. The second example is potassium react with water, will form potassium hydroxides and hydrogen gas. Lithium will react with water to form lithium hydroxides and hydrogen gas. Zinc will react with water to form zinc hydroxides and hydrogen gas. Now, we will talk about how metal reaction with sulfur. Metals react with sulfur to form metal sulfides. This can be done by burning of the mixture of metal powder with sulfur powder. The formula is telling the reaction between metal and sulfur. Here is some example of the reaction. Lead react with sulfur with the presence of heat to form lead sulfide. Aluminium react with sulfur with the presence of heat to form aluminium sulfide. Iron react with sulfur with the presence of heat to form iron sulfide. Now, we have just learned the reaction of metal with oxygen and sulfur. The next topic is mass is conserved during chemical change. During chemical reaction, atoms are neither created nor destroyed, but split up and rearranged to form a new product. The number of atoms remain unchanged after a chemical reaction. Therefore, it can be deduced that mass is always conserved. The phenomena of mass conservation during the chemical reaction have been described by the principle of mass conservation. The principle of mass conservation states that when a product is formed during chemical reaction, its mass remains same as the mass of the reactants. The principle of mass conservation can be described by the following equation. Total mass of reactant in the beginning of chemical reaction is equal to total reactant in the end of chemical reaction. For example, in the combustion process of carbon burns in oxygen to form carbon dioxide. The number of carbon and oxygen atoms remain unchanged after the chemical reaction. This means that these atoms of carbon and oxygen are not destroyed, but rearranged to form carbon dioxide. According to the principle of mass conservation, the total mass of carbon and oxygen before the combustion is equal to the total mass of carbon dioxide that produced after the combustion. This is all the content of the topic, mass is conserved during chemical change. Now, we continue the lesson with topic, method to separate compound. Compounds cannot be separated physically like mixture, because the elements in a compound are chemically bonded. Compounds can only be separated by using the chemical method, such as electrolysis. Electrolysis is the chemical deposition of a compound into its elements by passing through electric current. For example, break down the water into hydrogen gas, and oxygen gas can be done via the electrolysis process. During the electrolysis process of water is break down into hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. When an electric current passes through two electrode in the electrolysis process is a conductor, through which electricity current enter and leaves the electrolyte, example, carbon rod. Two electrodes is used in electrolysis. The electrode connected to positive terminal of dry cell is positive electrode, known as anode. The electrode connected to negative terminal of dry cell is positive electrode known as cathode. Electrolyte is a liquid, which conducts electricity. In the electrolysis process of water is electrolyte. During the electrolysis process of water, gas bubbles are formed on both electrodes. Oxygen gas is discharged at positive electrode, the anode. Hydrogen gas is discharged at negative electrode, the cathode. The volume of hydrogen in cathode is twice of the volume of oxygen in anode. The ratio of hydrogen volume to oxygen volume is 2:1. This is the explanation for method to separate compound to element, process electrolysis. Now, let us discuss the physical change and chemical change of matter. The change in matter can be classified into physical and chemical changes. Physical change is any changes that only alter the form or appearance of substance. Without altering their chemical composition, no new substances are formed. Chemical change is any changes that result in the formation of chemical composition and properties. This table is to show the items that change or no change during physical and chemical change. We first see the atomic and molecular changes. For both physical and chemical change, the type of atoms is remained unchanged. About the number of atoms is remained unchanged too. For both physical and chemical change. About the arrangement of atoms, it is remain unchanged during physical change of matter. But, there are changes during chemical change. It involves the breaking of bonds between atoms. About the type of molecules. It remain unchanged during physical change, but change during chemical change. About the property change. There will have a change in shapes, sizes, and states of matter. In the chemical change, it will involve the change in color, temperature, and energy. This is about the change that occur during the physical and chemical change of matter. This table show the summary of similarity and differences for physical and chemical change. Now, we will discuss the differences between mixture and compound. A mixture is made up of two or more elements or compounds that are mixed physically, but not combined chemically. We can call mixing as physical reaction. A compound is made up of two or more different elements are chemically combined. We can call this as chemical reaction. Since a mixture and a compound is formed in different manner, there are differences between them. The follows are the 7 subject to compare compound and mixture. The first subject is the type of change occurs during formation. The formation of mixture only involve the physical change, whereas the formation of compound involve chemical change. The second subject is the formation of new substance. No new substance is formed when a mixture is formed. There are new substance is formed during the formation of compound. The third subject is properties before and after formation. The mixture have same properties as the components of the mixture, whereas compound has a new set of properties which is different from its opponent. The fourth subject is the changes of energy. No energy change is involved in the formation of mixture, whereas energy change is involved in the formation of compound. That is either the energy being released or absorbed. It can be in either heat or light form. The fifth is composition. There is no fixed composition for original components to form a mixture. For the formation of compound, the ratio for the original components is fixed. The sixth subject is the presence of chemical bond. No chemical bond reconstruction is occurred during the formation of mixture. During the formation of compound, there is chemical bond reconstruction occur. The seventh subject is the separation method. Mixture need a physical separation method to gain its original component, whereas compound need a chemical separation method to gain back its original components. These are the 7 subjects that enable us to see the differences between mixture and compound. This is the summary for the differences between mixture and compound. Here is an example of formation of the mixture and compound. When iron powder, which is metal, and sulfur powder, which is non-metal, are mixed and stirred until they are blended, a mixture is formed. This mixture can be simply separated using magnetic method. When the mixture of iron and sulfur is heated, iron and sulfur are chemical combined to form a new substance called iron sulfide, which is black and smelly. Now, you should able to differentiate the mixture and compound. Explanation for topic: differences between mixture and compound. And we have just completed the lesson for chapter 6, periodic table. Thank you for watching.